where we talk about all things metal. We've got a interesting new topic, but before we get started, I just figured I'd kind of has to hash out some of the stuff that we had last night. One is that Amazon, Megadeth, sorry, is going to be playing their very last album. You know, no, I said putting out their last new album and then touring with that album. Um, Also, Baby Metal is made some massive impact on the Billboard charts there. So they're like number 9 for just the main Billboard 200 chart, is what it sounded like from what I've heard. And yeah, so that's pretty big. And she, for a metal band itself, sorry, my nose is itching and stuff. And so I thought that'd be kind of I wonder what their I'm trying to remember which song it is though that hit the chart though. I'm gonna have to find that out. I just know it. One of them has done that. In tonight's topic, we're going to talk about bands that are not as well known, but who haven't been inspired by other metal bands themselves that are the giants of metal. People that have influenced them and stuff like that. So sit right back and check it out. And yeah, we're gonna be having some fun. Like Iron Maiden, maybe Black Sabbath, and Judas Priest were their influences. And thanks to Ozzy Osbourne and people like him that paved the way for everybody else. I think it kind of reflects on what kind of influences Ozzy has had in everybody's life. I think pretty much throughout the last what I forgot how many years he was. And Black Sabbath's been around since what before I was even born in the 70s, like 70. I don't know exactly what year, but I know it was before 73. That's for sure. It's probably 72, 71. So yeah, that's one of those things that that's quite a long time. And then he also did his solo career later on in life, doing different songs that we all know and love. So yeah. So the list starts off with number 20 is March of the Dragons from Eternal Champion, which I've definitely never heard of. A triumphant and epic closing track with a soaring chorus with a sense of heroic grandeur that perfectly encapsulates the echo of the Titans theme, which is kind of cool. I like that. Number 19 is Crying from the Earth, Mando Road, a legendary rock track that from one of the most influential epic metal bands. This song is a masterpiece in epic storytelling and powerful riffing. Number 18 is Age of the Moon, called The Sword. Oh, wait a minute here. It's from The Sword, I guess, is what they're called. Sorry. This song is a great example of the band's, oops, yeah, band's early sound with a heavy stoner rock inspired riffs and a strong sense of classic Sabbath like groove. So they, I guess, were influenced by Black Sabbath's sound, which is really cool. I always like that kind of stuff. Let's see what we got here. The 17 is the Witch of the North. Cult of Luna is the name of the band. A masterful blend of doom and sludge. This song is a great example of how modern bands have pushed the boundaries of the genre while retaining a classic feel, like some from the bands, probably from Sabbath, I would assume. Number 16 is Warlock, Angel Witch, which I definitely know they have got some really good songs. Like Burning Witches is another good one. That kind of remind me of some of the same songs, same group title, whatever in the name. There's iconic NWOBHM song, which is a catchy with a catchy riff, a theatrical a cult theme sound that influenced countless bands before it. Just so you know, before I go any further, while you're here, and I've got like 8 people viewing, if you could be very helpful for me, and hopefully get enough fans on here that I can talk to metal artists themselves and say, look, I've got X amount of people on the channel, which I'm hoping it'd be nice to have 1,000. But if I can manage to get at least 500, that would be awesome. Subscribe to the channel and like, and if you want to throw some likes in there, that's cool. To get the ball rolling on the actually getting to know the metal artists themselves, because like I said before, and I'll say it again, and a friend of mine told me that you're the voice of metal. It's like, no, it's not quite the whole premise of it. It's about the voices of metal, people who are in the metal. So really, it should be voices of metal, but each person is a voice in the metal scene, and those are the people that we're talking about. People that are a voice that talks about themselves, talks about their life, talks about what influenced them, like bands like right now tonight that we're talking about. I think that's a very noble thing that like people like Ozzy Osbourne has made for all of us. Because without them, things wouldn't be who they are. Plus, knowing more about like things like Ozzy Osbourne, his life and stuff like that, which I kind of saw a video a little bit about some of his upbringing in his life. It was rather interesting. I think a lot of it was stuff that was kind of things that were brought up a certain way because of his family, um, his whole, I say, upbringing kind of got him into this genre itself in the scene. It was more kind of a downside than an upside, but I think that it means a lot. Not, for his basically all the stuff that he had to sacrifice and deal with. It something really positive came out of it for everybody, I think. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So don't forget to do that for me. I appreciate it because without you guys, the metal family itself, my channel can't grow either. So, and I want people to know about bands they might not have heard about and stuff like that. I'm still thinking about maybe doing the playlist along with maybe interviews too, especially when I have more time. I'm gonna do a little bit more, maybe like on certain nights, doing that too. Hello, how's it going? You doing okay? How are you? TU. I'm not sure what TU means. I'm sorry. I'm not sure about the short stuff, so I apologize. Let's see, where are we at? Number 15 is The Last Rites, Satan. Um, I think I already did this one. No, it's a classic NWOBHM track with a fast technical feel and sense of dark energy defined in the genre. Um, Number 14 is Beyond the Gates of the Sun. Pagan Altar is the band, a legendary track that from one of the pioneers of occult doom metal with its dark atmospheric feel and powerful occult themes. I think this is actually not quite the list I was thinking. Though I had some compile a list from some of the ideas I came up with, but yeah, it's not quite what I expected. But that's okay. Number 13 is The Evil Priest, a Crimson Glory, a fantastic example of early U.S. power metal featuring a unique vocal style and strong sense of melody. 12 is Night Demon from Night Demon itself, the band. A high energy, no frills, heavy metal track that is a perfect throwback to the classic NW NWOBHM sound. So you know. Let's see here. Number 11, Hammer of God, Solitude Aetherius, I think is how you say it. I'm not sure if I definitely don't know how to pronounce that. Auturns. Atarius? I don't know. Anyway, the track is a sequential doom metal song with its slow, crushing riffs and a sense of despair and melancholy. I think is how you say it. Anyway, let's see here. Number 10 is The Last King Sorcerer, is the name of the band. A powerful melodic, see, I can never pronounce that, doom metal track with a cinematic feel It features soaring vocals and emotional depths and sets it apart from the rest. I guess is what it is. Um, Number nine is the Master of the Blade. Crypt Sermon is the name of the band. A epic doom metal track that perfectly blends the slow, heavy riffs of Candlemass with a sense of fantasy and grandeur. Here's another one for you. Number eight is Living in Sin from Savage. A lesser known NWOBHM gem is a song is created. This song is a great example of no, sorry, raw, unpolished energy and defining the genre. Sorry, I I was a little tired earlier, so I took a quick nap and I am so out of it right now. So I'm just like flying, you know. How's it going? If I looked up what was that? If I, I'm taking, I'm taking that busy. What? I understand about if I was locked up with you. I'm taking that. Uh huh. Okay. I'm not sure what you mean by the last part, but I gotcha. You're gonna be taking that, Mr. Michael. Thanks. Let's see here. Which where were we at? Sorry. Living in Sin from Savage. Was the one? That's that broke my concentration. Witchfinder General. Witchfinder General. A foundational track of doom metal genre that's song slowly heavy riff and dark atmosphere sets a stage for all that followed. Cool. Number seven. Speaking is in from Enforcer. This song is a great example of new wave Swedish heavy metal and its high octane tempo, blistering guitar solos, which is really cool. I like guitar solos. I don't know if you guys like them as much as I do. Let's see here. Number five is Die for Metal from Man of War, which I know I've heard quite a few songs from Man of War. They got some really good stuff. They're not as well known band. I forgot how many subscribers they have on like YouTube, but there's not a whole lot. There might be a little more on Spotify, but I'm not sure because I don't have an account with them right now. So it'd be kind of interesting to see because I was like seeing the stats of bands and see how many people follow them because I was trying to find songs from this one band that was here locally that was here near town last night. I was thinking about watching, but I don't know what their sounds like, so I didn't go. God, I got hiccups now. I hate that. Anyway, hopefully that helps. Number six is Speed King Enforcer. This song is a great, and that's number six. Sorry, this song is a great example of new wave of Swedish heavy metal with its high octane tempo and blistering guitar solos, which is really cool. Oh, that's right, we already talked about this one. Number five is Die for Metal. Oh, yeah, I already talking about Man of War. Okay, never mind. Let's skip to that. Skip that one. Into the Fire from number four. Sorry, I lost track. Haunt, a modern NWOBHM inspired track with a raw energetic feel that showcases the band's love for the genre's origins. So there you go. Number three is The Wolf Age is the name of the song, and I don't ask me. It's Vistagoth, I think is how you saw it, as Visigoth. Just to make sure I didn't pronounce it wrong. Russian rock. Oh yeah, we need to talk about that too, right? I think that would be a good one to cover bands in Russia, because there is a couple bands that I know really well, and I can't remember the name of it. Starts with a B, but they are phenomenal. She does covers of songs, and she does some of her own stuff. And I think she might have did one of Ozzy's, but I'm not sure. Anyway, a powerful epic metal track that combines thunderous riffs and sense of grandeur, paying homage to the storytelling style of Iron Maiden itself, which is awesome. What is this? Mopex? Mopex? And we got Michael Dreyer. Sorry about that. I'm bad with last names sometimes. Number two is the last of the Dragon Riders is Clay Morium, I think is how you pronounce it. It's Clamorian. Claire Morian, I think is how you pronounce it. This song is a must hear for fans of Manowar. So there you go. So I need to find out more about this because I definitely like Manowar songs. This is a heroic sounds and epic storytelling that encapsulates the spirits of classic power metal itself. Cool. I like that. See, I got a notification for something. I don't know what it was. I look like Robert E. Lee. Well, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I guess it depends on who you talk to, I guess. I didn't think Robert E. Lee. Well, somebody told me that a long time ago with my glasses that I had years ago. I think they're a little more rounded. I looked like what's his name from the Beatles, John Lennon, because I had longer hair. I think that's who it was. Because I had the face, and the kind of the eyes, because his eyes were kind of squinty like that. So who knows? A Black Heart. Oh, Blackheart. Sorry, it's number one. Blood Star is the band's name. A perfect opener, blending raw melodic energy with a powerful female vocalist that echoes Judas Priest's classic sound. And I like that. I like Judas Priest. I like their stuff. So I guess that Bloodstar is one I have to check out as well. And hopefully I'll be able to get the list up because I've been trying to work on trying to figure out a way of making it to where I can just take the list that I have listed and it populates it for me, and so I don't have to look up every song, which it does take some time to do. And I stopped doing it for a while because of that, because I was like, okay, I've got other things to do that I don't have time to get on the nitty gritty of that, but it's important to me so that way you guys can listen to the songs that I just talked about, which is awesome. So do you guys have any questions or anything about some of the songs tonight? Is there anything that you'd like to add? Maybe something that a band that you know that's been influenced by one of these major bands, people that we all know and love, like Iron Maiden and Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, all those. Because I'm sure there are a few out there that maybe we don't know about that you guys do, and that's the whole point. There's so many different bands out there. I can't keep track of them all. And if you guys have one that you like and you know about, or even a small band that you don't know, which reminds me, I have somebody that came to me talking about his son's metal band that he has here in Colorado Springs. And he was wanting to know if, having some input, feedback from people who listen to metal music. And I said, well, here's my channel. Check it out and get a hold of me, which I don't think that he has. He might have, and I just haven't seen it yet. So, uh, what's that? Some funny, so funny to say the people who hate nudist priests. Oh, nudist priests. Why? Because he's gay and that they freak out. Oh, scrambling trying to explain. Okay. I know what you're getting at with that one. Gotcha. Yeah, I know. But the thing is, Breaking the Law was a really good song. And, that reminds me of the song Who's to Blame from Sacred Reich. Actually, they have a actual song that has Ozzy, Judas Priest, and all those stuff that's evil, you know. But it's really what it is it's about the got a character named Johnny, and he hangs himself by the neck, and it's who's really to blame for his death, because they were criticizing his lifestyle and choices, his song music. If you would, if I guess basically what it boils down to, if the parents would have done what they should have done in the first place, having said more positive messages to him and encouraged his taste in metal, and really in the influence of some of these guys the bands and stuff that we all know and love do influence people to where they become really good metal artists themselves. I know I'm really impressed and inspired by a lot of the bands that from the past that actually have helped shape some of the music of today and stuff, and that really makes a huge difference in people's lives. Yeah. Yes, I know, right? Because there's times I go out, I'm driving, right? And there's signs saying slow down, the speed limit is this speed and stuff like that because we have kids around, blah, blah, blah. So, but where are you at? Some of these kids are like 10 and under, and there's no parents around watching any of them. Trust me, with my son, you better believe I was watching him. If he wanted to go out and play, we went out together and we enjoyed it together. And I even if I was just sitting there in a chair watching like videos on my phone, I was out there kind of keeping an eye on things and stuff. And my street was a fairly decent street. It was like kind of like it was like a yeah, it kind of goes circles around. So there's a road here that's a main road and a road here, but then this other side street, it's only just a few houses that belong on that road. And so it wasn't terribly busy, but every once there was a few cars in there. So if he was riding his bike or something like that, I'd tell him just stay close by, keep where I can see you. That's all that matters. Then later on, when he got a little older, I let him say, okay, go down here a little ways, which I can't watch him as he's driving around because I didn't have a bike to follow him. But I said if you want to go down to the park, go down to the park and stuff like that. And once he got to be like, like being a little more responsible, I said just watch yourself, make sure pay attention to what's going on around you. Yeah, it's one of those things. So, and that's what that song's all about. It's like where were you at? It's kind of like the Columbine shooting. I think that has a, but the thing about I think I know why they did what they did is because they felt unempowered. I think they felt like outcasts. Thought they feel like they didn't belong, and that's what metal music has brought to people that are like me, people that were picked on or teased. And I think that's what a lot of that was, by people that thought they were better than anybody else because of the jocks and all this other stuff. People that thought they were just the greatest thing ever on the face of the planet, which they're not. And they're just human beings like all the rest of us. And a lot of them have changed once they get older. I know it's funny. One of the kids that used to pick on me in middle school, him and his friend, and I was not too happy about that. Actually, I saw the guy years later where I was working at, which is kind of odd. And we were talking, and I says, "I think I remember you." He said that. I says, and he explained this. Like, oh, that's you. Oh, okay. So I didn't say anything about the bullying. I just said, yeah. What are you talking about? I mean, I didn't say anything like negative or anything. I just was talking to him about this, that, and the other, and he explained to me that the bigger guy, he was playing football and he hurt himself, so he basically lost his chances of having like an NFL career because of it. I said, see, this is what happens when people do bad things. Sometimes things happen to them, which I don't like to wish on anybody because he probably had a good opportunity to do really awesome things with his abilities because he was a big guy and he could be a defensive person on the football, which I don't really watch much football because I was never into it because of people like that, So that, and plus I didn't have my dad wasn't there because my parents were divorced, so I got to see my dad, but not very often. It was like in the summer with my sister, and then later on down the road when I moved to Kentucky, yeah, I basically had a job for working in a grocery store, and I was a cashier there, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. Did all kinds of stuff like I'd bring home like pop and sell that on the bus and making money. So I was an entrepreneur even then, so it's kind of cool. But anyway, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, things like that always shape your life. It's kind of reminds me of like the songs that used to shape some of the things that I did or would like. And I always had this thing when I was like walking the halls of school sometimes during lunch because I wasn't always that hungry. So I just go through the classes and just walk, talk to people, this, that, and the other, friends of mine, whatever. And I didn't smoke or anything because there was a smoking area for kids. Yeah, unfortunately at the school. But this is because it was in Kentucky. They allow you to buy cigarettes there at 16 at the time back then. They did a lot of things I never thought I'd see at a school, a high school. It was a smaller town, Nicholasville, is Jessamine County High School, which actually got destroyed right after my graduation, which is crazy. So they got two high schools now, because of that. So yeah, so and I remember some of those songs. I mean the things going on then with Columbine and all this other stuff, and I wasn't here in Colorado, but I had been here before. Yeah, so you know, that's the thing is watch your kids. That's the main thing, which is kind of crazy. And I get really upset with that. And one thing is, whenever I see a kid that actually pays attention to what's going on, looking both ways, stopping before crossing an intersection, I actually rolled down my window and said, "You are phenomenal." I said, I just want to say thank you for doing that because you are, in fact, basically the person that's watching out for yourself, regardless of what the drivers are supposed to do. Because not every driver can see everything all the time. So it's always good to have that. Sorry, I got a message here that popped up. It's not just the driver's responsibility to do it. I think it's both. And if you teach your kids how to do the crosswalk and do the proper things when they're kids, they will grow up to be phenomenal adults too, and that means a lot, especially even metalheads, right? Uh huh. Oh, I know. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. You hit the nail on the head. Well, that's what Marilyn Manson said with the Columbine thing. He goes, "Where were the parents? What were you guys doing? Or were you guys keeping an eye on your son or sons?" And I don't know. He didn't elaborate on the uh, the reasons why, because I know that they were talking about certain people they were looking for when they were going after people, which is kind of scary. But the thing is, I think a lot of people feel that way, that are maybe being treated unfairly on poor. I think nowadays that people are doing better about that, and not bullying people, and actually people are looking out for people that are being bullied, which I think is a very important thing. And I don't think things would have escalated if we had that kind of stuff now. But even then, I've even heard from my son, even now, even with all the stuff going on now, there's kids that do the same thing, which is not good. That's basically what it is. And I think metal is an avenue for people that don't fit in every place else. And even then, there are some people that still follow those steps. And I think I remember there is somebody I know that I think kind of had the same story that I did. I can feel that in what he talks about because he got there was a lot of things this person had more things go on in his life, but he also got some great opportunities too along with it. So he had a blessing and a curse at the same time. Had a he had pretty much everything, but he also had a lot of issues and problems. And I think maybe some of that was from that or something else. I don't know. I don't know his whole story on that, but it's somebody I know. Uh, so what did the girls think was gonna happen when they went to? Yeah, I know, right? That's funny. Now the thing is, he's married now. Well, he's been married for a while. And the one thing his wife says and talks about is that he talks to his mom every single day. So what does that say about his real character? What he's really like? He's still he's a showman. He does this for a living, and he has some pretty really wild songs, and he does some really wild things on stage. But he still calls his mom every day. So what does that say? So you can't judge a book just by its cover. Just like everybody in life. some of the nicest people are the ones that you don't expect to be nice, and vice versa. That reminds me of when I was working at Target. The security guy said one thing you can't always expect that the little old lady to be the nice one. You never know. You never know. It's kind of crazy because he said that some lady actually did steal a huge TV between under her dress. She basically rigged it where she could hook it up, drag it out of the store underneath her dress that she had. I think it was a longer dress, I think. But anyway, it was kind of crazy. Yeah, and he saw her put on the ground and just all of a sudden it just disappeared. So yeah, you never know. You never know. It's kind of crazy. So what's that? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. See, the thing is, people don't know him. They don't know him. And even Ozzy, when I saw the history of Ozzy, man, when he was younger, he was just like a normal, average everyday kid. He didn't look like anything. He looked kind of nerdy, geeky kind of person. That's what most of them are. And then they grow up to be like totally different, really cool sometimes, making, like a beard and long hair, black hair, whatever, to change the whole persona of what they're going for. They might look better than they did when they were in high school, not so dweeby after all, right? I think I do. I look a little better now than what I did. I still look like me, but who knows? Um, but yeah, and I think this says a lot, right? The fingerless gloves were so numb. That's bad. That's really bad. That's crazy. Anyway, so hopefully you guys will have a wonderful night. And this is going a lot longer than I planned on, but I think some of it's very important. I mean, basic all those bands, all the stuff that they dealt with when in the past, shaped them to who they were, so they could help other bands being influenced and help them with their lives themselves. And I think that's part of the reason why I wanted to start the channel in the first place, is to talk to the artists themselves, because you don't know what it was like for them. Basically, one of the questions I would ask is, what exactly, who and what really helped influence you to come to this point where you are actually in a band? What kind of tragedies or things that shaped you into who you are today? And what your goals for later on too, because I think that means speaks volumes. And what influenced you in some of the songs, like maybe one of the songs was about somebody that you cared about, or somebody that used to pick on you, and this, that, and the other, and you kind of wanted to, how I say, unload that emotion, in a song. I think that's a lot. And maybe somebody that had a tragedy or a suicide, that kind of stuff. That does speak a lot. And knowing what brought them to that, how you say, song itself, and those things themselves, that speaks volumes, I think. Because I do know somebody that's a grief counselor. She's very well known in the metal community. Well, at least for the metal artists and the people who know her. Not everybody knows her, and she started her own band just recently. And she's a mortician. She's went to school for that, and that helped shape her life. And I think her music as well. And she used to hang out in different places when she was younger, going to different concerts and stuff, which I didn't do as much of. I was trying to get out of school myself. I just didn't want to stay in school, so I had a whole different path than she did when it comes to that. But I think there's certain similarities on certain things in our life that I think reflect each other, and even our actions, which is kind of weird. So yeah, it was kind of interesting to hear her talk about some of this stuff, and and I think that was what kind of got me inspired to even think about doing that. Besides other people like Ozzy, his life, which I just recently heard about, and even James Hetfield. That was one that really kind of shook me to the core a little bit. It's like he basically got out of high school and he was in a metal band, and he was fairly well known, and he couldn't just hang out with people, which is kind of sad. I don't think that's very good for him. I think that's one reason why maybe he had some problems later on in his life, that could have been part of it. Drinking and this, that, and the other, possibly, because he didn't have a place to unload with friends. A lot of it, I think, he had his bandmates. That's about it. People he worked with, and that's not. Eh, it's enough. Maybe to a point, it's enough, but not completely. And I'm sure he kept some things to himself because we all do. Anyway, so I will let you guys go. You guys have a wonderful night. Take care, and don't forget to headbang, like, and subscribe to the channel. And I'm hoping that maybe I'll get something from Gentleman's Son. He could always maybe send me a message on here. I might try to get. I think I know how to get a hold of him eventually. Just whenever I see him. Maybe I can have him give him my email address, and maybe he can maybe send me a short clip to play for all you guys, and I'll do it as a video short or something. I think that'd be cool, and see what your guys' reaction is, because he needs some feedback, and I think that means a lot. And I think with your guys' support, I think he might become one of those really cool metal bands that we all know and love. And who knows what he'll do for somebody else, right? Just like all the guys that used to do it for us. So take care, have a good night. Don't forget to hit bang, like, and subscribe to the channel that talks about all things metal. You have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next week. Weekend, I should say. Take care. Bye.